Hi, I'm Susan Lazear. I'm from San Diego, California. I am a professor of fashion at San Diego Mesa College, and I also own Cochineal Design Studio. We develop software for sewers, knitters, textile arts, and our pattern making program is called Garment Designer. It's through this program that I learned a lot about measuring. I'm going to be demonstrating how to take 4 different measurements on your body, and I'm going to use a combination of tools everyone has, as well as specialty tools. So here we have our standard measuring tape and 2 rigid rulers, which I'll use in combination with each other. I'm also going to be using a specialty measuring ruler that comes from Germany, and it is 2 rulers joined on a hinge, so you can use it in multiple ways with metric and inches measurements. And then the beauty, my favorite part of this ruler, is that you can use it almost like a slide rule to take depth and width measurements really accurately. And I use this not only on the body, but for copying clothing when I'm trying to take measurements of armhole depths, neck widths, and so on. Although I'm going to be taking a measurement with just the standard measuring tape, I did want to share with you the specialty measuring tape that makes it really easy to take front versus back measurements, because the tape has a 0 point in the middle and measures outwards from that. So you can use that simply to take measurements that are different front to back. So let's begin. The first measurement, I'm just going to use a regular measuring tape, and I'm going to show you how to take a bust measurement where you can actually determine your front bust from your back of the body. And so I have a technique I've learned over the years working with hundreds of students and users of our software. What I like to do in taking this measurement to figure out how I'm different from front to back is I actually start the measuring tape at the side seam. On most people, you can follow the back of the ear, and that centers to your shoulder seam, and it also centers to your side seam. So for all of my body circumference, the bust, the waist, and the hip, I do it this way because I get an accurate measurement. So I start at the side seam and I'm following down, and then you will run your tape and line it up parallel to the floor over the fullest part and start the 0 at the side seam, and we take the total measurement. And then at that point, I reach across and hold the tape and walk around while it's still in place and see what the measurement is at the other side seam, and that will tell me my front versus back measurement. And I would expect that Dina probably has a 2-inch difference between her front and her back, and so she can adjust her patterns accordingly. So that's my circumference tip. Now, let's talk about shoulder slope. This is what I think to be one of the most important measurements you should be taking, because how the garment lays on your shoulder dictates everything on how the garment fits. If the slope of the pattern is wrong for the slope of your shoulder, it's going to torque up an armhole, or it's going to create extra folds down in the body. So it's important to get the slope of the pattern to agree with the slope of your body. So these are 2 really high-tech tools, 2 rulers in this case. And what I'm going to do is hold one ruler parallel to the floor, starting where a round neckline would fit. And then I'm going to hold the other ruler at the end of her shoulder where the sleeve would set and take the measurement, and then I know what her body shoulder slope is. And that will help guide me as to how I need to adjust the pattern for proper fit. So that's my shoulder slope. Now, another tough measurement, this one, I'm differing this one from the pattern making books as the shoulder slope. I'm going to use my Hearth measuring ruler and slide it like this because I want to take an armhole depth measurement. So I'm going to slide this in, and then we'll turn sideways here so we can see. I'm just tucking this gently underneath Dina's body and then sliding the ruler down, and then I can read the measurement of her armhole depth on the ruler very easily, and that tells me what her body is. Of course, her pattern needs to be lower, but it's a good guideline for working with patterns. If you know what your body is, then you can adjust the pattern to be at least 3/4 of an inch for a fitted style, deeper, and as the styles become less fitted, the armhole will lower from there. In the same manner, I can also determine what somebody's neck width is, and again, I can line this ruler up and slide the little slide until I'm touching on both sides. You can even do this one on yourself with the ruler. Then you can see what your body's neck width is, and so here we have a 4.5-inch neck width. And that's also a good guideline when you're trying to work with patterns. So I'm Susan Lazear, and I'm hoping that these 4 measurements that I showed you today will help you get a better fit in your clothing and make life easier.